Our minds are corrupted with this filth. How long until we finally decide to repair ourselves? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you have watched our video on how to rid yourself of porn addiction, then you may have many questions still burning in your mind. And don't worry, we will be getting to those questions, inshallah, on our new server that will be starting soon on the school platform known as Brave Caliphate, and inshallah later on in the Brave Academy. We plan to start a series known as the Enemies of Islam, and one of the main topics that we'll be focusing on is on pornography addiction. However, in the meantime, we would still like to provide you with an Islamic roadmap on how to heal your brain and your life after porn addiction. This is no small feat, and it is not an easy task. There's plenty of information out there that's available, many methods from the kuffar. However, what is the essential component that all of these lack? They lack Islam. They lack the Quran. They lack the Sunnah. They lack the Hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And though I would love to share those with you in a very long and in-depth program, and I plan to, inshallah, for now, I would like to give you the basics, the bare essentials of what you can start now. Firstly, avoid all super stimuli. This means everything from MSG to artificial flavorings to bungee jumping, skydiving, attention-seeking, thrill-seeking activities. These are dopamine triggers for your brain, and your brain has been already trained to crave high dopamine. This will essentially ruin your progress. What you have done is you have essentially created a hyper-flexible rubber band. Look at a rubber band and the way that it is when it is first out of the factory. It is small, it is very tight. Now when you start stretching that rubber band to create a much stronger effect up and down, what happens to it? It becomes wider, right? And you have to add more and more effect until eventually it snaps. The same is true with your mind. It's true with your dopaminergic system. Now, we're not going to get into the complexities of the dopaminergic system and how it interacts with your other neurological transmitters. However, what we will do is we will talk about the basics of how dopamine works. If you have a very high peak, it leads to a very extreme crash below the baseline. You don't just come back to normal. It is like a rubber band effect going up and down. So when you create a very high dopamine experience on purpose, what you are doing is you are training your brain to seek out novelty and addiction. You are training yourself to go against the grain of normalcy and to not be satisfied with normal life. This is hardly what an addict wants to do when they're recovering. What you would like to do, what would be best for you, is to create a healthy life, to create healthy dopamine surges that are in correspondence, essentially in cooperation with your human nature. Things like creating a friendship with a good friend who can guide you in a proper direction. Things like seeking out a mentor and trying to improve your life. Things like regular exercise, eating on a regular basis, and having regular healthy meals. Things like drinking enough water, reading books that are good for your mind and good for your deen, researching matters that are interesting to you, going out and enjoying the sunlight, enjoying nature, taking time for a hike, looking for places that would be interesting for you to go that don't involve risking your life or your health or anything that's excessively risk-taking, essentially. Now, this does not mean that you need to live an incredibly boring life lacking in adventure. Far from it. There are plenty of people who go out of their way on a regular basis to go out on hikes, to go ATVing, to go hunting, to go archery, to go shooting. They do all kinds of things. Horseback riding, sunnah sports, swimming. They do this with groups of people who are united in a common purpose and cause. And these are things that you can do in order to increase the normal, regular dopamine in your life, not in a way that will harm your brain. Another thing that's incredibly important, my brothers and sisters, is attaching yourself to a community. And this is something that is sadly disappearing in this modern day and age. The Sahaba, radiallahu anhum, were connected with other Muslims who were like them, united on a common path. They were consistently seeking knowledge and ilm. They were consistently looking into Islam, absorbing the teachings of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, working on understanding the Quran and listening to it. They were fighting and striving in the cause of Allah. Now, at the time, they had the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but even after he was gone, even after he departed, they were on their path. They were consistently striving and trying to spread this deen, and they did an incredible job of it, my dear brother and my dear sister. So what are you doing for this deen? What are you doing to spread the word of Allah? If you are not living the teachings of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will have a tremendous gap in your life, and you may try to fill that gap with things that don't belong. So the best way to repair your brain is to create a life that is like the Sahaba lived, to create a life that is in accordance with your fitrah, to create a life that is balanced and complete and healthy and wholesome. Pray all of your prayers, preferably in the masjid. Do your sunnah prayers. Look into a few of the attached programs that I will connect here, inshallah, in the description. One of them in particular is about Ruqya Sharia, and this may be a very surprising thing for you to look at, considering that you may feel you don't have any jinn. But I promise you, my dear brother, my dear sister, if you have opened yourself to major sins and you are recovering, there is a problem in your heart, and it deals with doubts and desires. One opens the door to the other. If you allow desires into your heart, doubts will occur. If you allow doubts into your heart, desires will take root, and eventually you will have to pull both of them out and take control. Opening this gate will open the gate to jinn and other visitors that you do not want. So let me be very clear about this. I'm not implying that you have a jinn. However, I am saying that you will want to do the various defenses that are involved in the adhkar and in the ruqya that I'm going to share with you in this link. This is not just about Ruqya Sharia. It's about protecting yourself from the harms of the enemy, protecting yourself against sihr, against shayateen, against the jinn that are out there of various forms that may try to harm you and may access your heart. It is about making yourself into the best Muslim you can be. And that is what this video really contains. It is amazing to say that this is an Ruqya video. However, these are really many of the things that all of the Muslims should be doing, and the vast majority have forgotten. And this opens you up to major sins and to addictions, my brothers and sisters. So one of the greatest ways to plug up those holes is to fortify your heart, to fortify your iman, to plug the holes in your aqidah and in your actions, and to fortify yourself with the fortress of the Muslim, the dua that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is proven to have said and to have recited on a daily basis. This is what you should include in your life. Repair your heart, repair your deen, repair your mind, your body, your life, your relationships, and watch as your brain heals. And soon, very soon, inshallah, that previous addiction will feel like a sad and embarrassing chapter in a past that you can never imagine yourself going back to. May Allah heal you. May He make it easy for you. May He bring the best out of you and give you the best in this world and the next, my dear brother, my dear sister. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.